All right, I think we'll get started.
Okay, start us off, Jen.
It's my big grand
Yeah, all right.
here. Well, hi, Aiden. Hi, Scott. I'm Jen, Communication Specialist here with CCDC. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come hear about the rebuild Bannock Street improvements from 13th Street to 16th Street. It's a very exciting project, and the McIlvaine team and Amy here will do a great job explaining all the fun, awesome technical details, schedule, and all of that. Are you guys familiar with CCDC and what we do? I think you do. Okay, then I'll save you guys the spiel. Other than that, I'm going to turn it over to Amy Fimble. The McIlvaine team is Alex Dosadel and Tom Callahan, project manager and project engineer. They are going to be your boots on the ground. Complain to these guys. Just kidding.
Is that why I came?
But they will be on site pretty much all the time to help answer any questions you may have. All right, Amy, go ahead and take it over.
Thanks, Jen, and welcome to you both. As Jen mentioned, I'm Amy Fimble, CCDC's project manager on this Rebuild Bannock Street project. I'm going to start out the presentation by just walking through some of the project information, providing an overview of the scope of the work that's included in Rebuild Bannock Street, as well as the benefits that these improvements will bring to the area. And then turn it over to Alex and the McIlvaine side of things, who will discuss the proposed schedule and phasing of the upcoming work. We'll outline what you can expect from us in terms of communication and support during construction, where you can find information, and then who to contact should issues or concerns arise. Lastly, there'll be time at the end to answer any questions that you guys have. And we are recording this meeting just so people who aren't in the room have a chance to also hear this information. So Scott, if you want to share it out to the neighborhood association folks, you can definitely do that. And then other folks who weren't in attendance can also hear it. So back in 2023, CCDC really kicked off the design effort on this project to update streetscapes and improve mobility and safety along Bannock Street between 13th and 16th Streets. The project's main objective is to really create a more active and accessible urban environment for everyone who travels, regardless of your mode that you're using to get through the corridor. It's important to note that this project has been developed in coordination with ACHD's Bannock Street neighborhood concept design. You might be familiar with that, but it also has similar objectives, just a much larger span of region that it's covering. So it has bicycle and pedestrian improvements from 29th Street all the way east to Avenue C. So CCDC's focus will really be delivering those blocks between 13th and 16th Street. So I'll now dive into the scope of work that makes up Rebuild Bannock Street. Like I mentioned, work will be focused on Bannock Street itself between 13th Street and 16th Street, and will include the following projects, if you will. So streetscape enhancements to improve the sidewalks and the pedestrian environment, added traffic signals at 15th and 16th Street intersections, road reconstruction that ACHD has requested that we do on their behalf. We'll also be replacing a Boise City Canal crossing that's underneath Bannock, just east of 14th Street. Again, that's work that ACHD requested that we do on their behalf through a cost share agreement that we have with them. And then lastly, mobility improvements to improve the connectivity and safety along Bannock Street. So I'll spend some time talking about each of these. But first, here's sort of a rendering of the planned improvements. And this is looking southwest down Bannock Street from the 14th Street intersection. So that building that you see on the left-hand side of the screen is the Scottish Rite Masonic Center, just to orient you. So you see added street trees, greenery, improved sidewalks and pedestrian ramps. So the first thing we'll discuss is streetscape enhancements. So one of the main objectives for the project is to provide consistent and cohesive streetscapes. As you can see from the photo, the existing conditions between 15th and 16th Street, particularly on the south side, they're not very inviting for pedestrians currently. Let's just be honest. The project will be upgrading the streetscapes to make them consistent with the City of Boise streetscape standards. So sidewalks will be widened where needed, pedestrian ramps and driveway approaches will be upgraded to accommodate people of all abilities. We'll also be improving street lighting and enhancing pedestrian safety at crosswalks by installing bulb outs where feasible. The project will be adding additional street trees and increasing the greenery along the corridor. Some of these trees will be in a suspended pavement system that we refer to as silvicels, while others will be part of a tree lawn, so sodded area. We believe these improvements altogether will create a welcoming and comfortable atmosphere for pedestrians and really encourage more foot traffic in this corridor. So during the project design, CCDC received public input that the 15th and 16th Street intersections were areas of concern that really needed enhancements. We considered all the relevant data and circumstances and then sought and received approval from the ACHD Commission to add traffic signals at these two high traffic intersections. So by making the intersections at 15th and 16th Street fully signalized, they'll now be consistent with other nearby intersections in downtown Boise, and the project is, by that, increasing pedestrian and cyclist safety. These signals will be timed with the adjacent signals as part of the downtown signal grids. Like I mentioned, CCDC has an interagency cost share agreement with ACHD for repaving Bannock Street between 13th Street and 16th Street. So we'll go in and actually mill off the top 2 inches of the existing roadway and then repave the road with new asphalt paving. The block of Bannock Street between 13th and 14th Street will receive a more extensive roadway reconstruction effort, and that's just due to the replacement of the Boise City Canal crossing. There's more grading adjustments that have to happen as a result. The image on this slide actually shows a section of the Boise City Canal across 11th Street, just north of Main Street, that was replaced by McLean in 2023 as part of the rebuild 11th Street. And I share it because it's going to be much similar to what you see on this screen as far as the replacement effort involved. During the design of the project, ACHD identified this Boise Canal crossing between 13th and 14th Street as needing replacement. Typically, this work would be done as part of ACHD's bridge maintenance program, but with CCDC installing new streetscapes, it really made sense to replace this underground canal structure as part of Rebuild Bannock Street. This is just another example of CCDC partnering with other agencies to deliver multiple projects under a single effort to really reduce future disruptions to the project or to the public. This work does have a limited window of when it can be performed, as it has to be done during non-irrigation months. And so we're in that window right now, and this will be some of the first work that we tackle as we gear up for construction here in a couple weeks. But the replacement of this structure will ensure that irrigation water continues to flow throughout the neighborhoods of Boise. So important work, as we know Boise treasures their irrigation water and this resource. So Bannock Street is designated as a bikeway in ACHD's adopted bikeway network and is an important east-west corridor for people traveling into and out of downtown Boise from neighborhoods to the west. This project will be making some key mobility improvements to improve that connectivity and safety along Bannock Street and really create a low-stress experience for all users regardless of their mode of travel. The added traffic signals at 15th and 16th Street intersections, they'll allow for safer crossings for people walking and biking the route. And then bulb outs will be installed where feasible for traffic calming, improved pedestrian visibility, and really shortening those crossing distances that people have to walk. So I'm now going to kick it over to Alex, and he's going to walk through the project phasing.
Thank you, Amy. So I'm Alex Dosadell, project manager. I got Ty Callahan, project engineer on the project. So as far as scheduling, this is our phasing plan for the project. I'll try to go slower on this one to run through everything. Let me know if I go too fast. The project starts with the canal replacement, item 1, and that's looking to go January through March of 2025. We're going to be pretty focused on that thing during that duration because we need to get it operational by April of 2025. Concurrently, towards the tail end of that construction, we'll be getting into the 13th and 14th North Streetscapes. That'll be February through April. That's the portion that has a section of silva cells on the far right side. After that section's complete, we will get into the the 14th corners, so item 3. And all that stuff is kind of going to flow and have a little bit of overlap, and that encompasses also item 4, the south streetscapes, April to May. So once May is complete, we'll be done with that block with the exception of the road milling, the paving that'll come later. Section 5, we have the 15th Street corners. That item includes the signalization. So the goal there is to take the entire intersection so we could quickly put in all the signals, redo the sidewalks, and return the intersection to the vehicular traffic. Then we would go over to 16th Street intersection and corners and do the same thing. So basically 15th and 16th intersections spanning from May to August of 2025. Item number 7, that's the streetscapes on both the north and south side of Bannock Street between 15th and 16th. And then item 8 is the streetscapes between 15th and 14th. Those items will span between August and September, pretty much running concurrently. And then finally, there'll be the roadway paving, 13th to 16th. So that's encompassing the road mill and overlay, trying to get that all in a clean and continuous paving and overlay throughout the span of the project. And that is the phasing plan and high-level schedule. So what to expect during construction: work hours, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. We don't anticipate any weekend work. The goal here is to keep businesses accessible. The superintendent will be checking in frequently. Basically, we will meet with each property owner before you're disrupted, especially if there's a sidewalk or access point that we're going to have to look at the secondary access, or maybe coming in through a parking lot. We'll also be sending out a questionnaire, if you haven't received it already, for business needs and constraints, deliveries, utilities, trash pickup, all those things to make sure that we're coordinating and adjusting as needed. You will see advanced notice of road closures with detour maps coming out. That also comes with construction information updates that CCDC will be sending out, but 7 days in advance of taking any closure, you'll see the signs going up on the roadway. That'll be informing of that. Detour maps will be a part of the email updates, and that'll be basically as needed as they change. And then as well as that, there's going to be construction updates on social media.
Thanks, Alex. So we know that this work has impacts for the neighborhood and the businesses, and I want you to know that we're here to support you. We care about this neighborhood and the projects that we deliver. That's why we do these meetings. It's a priority for us to maintain easy access for your front door and minimize impacts for the people that visit your organizations. We're really focusing our communications efforts on keeping people moving, whether they're on foot, bike, or by car. So with each phase of construction, like Alex mentioned, you can count on advance notice of road closures and detour maps as conditions change. Project updates will be sent via email to communicate construction and detour updates. That link to the project page, www.rebuildbannockstreet.com, will have all that same information. And then just McIlvain is great about staying connected with everyone on the footprint. Their superintendent's out there all the time and will be communicating the changes in advance. They're here to help address specific needs, whether it be deliveries, trash, or special events. But I just want to reiterate to people, if there is a concern, come to us, let us know. We can't fix it if we don't know about it. And a lot of times people let it brew and it's really bothering them, and it's better to just let us know so that we can be part of the solution. We are here to help. That being said, I have our contact information listed on this slide. So if anyone identifies a need or additional support that we can provide during construction, they can reach out to us and we'll work together to make that happen. As I mentioned, we want to make it easy for you to communicate with your visitors or your employees, any changes in how you would normally get to you. There's also business cards on the table back here. So I think you both signed in on the sheet. So we'll be adding any new names to the sign-in sheet who we don't already have, and adding those to the project email list so that we are remaining in contact.
And I don't have Sean's contact information on here, but he's the superintendent. He will actually be the primary point of contact if you want to get something resolved. So please come to us first instead of Amy, because Amy will inevitably call me, and I'll call Sean. So fastest place to go is the superintendent. He has boots on the ground, and we will get you his contact information before we start work.
Great. And with that, we're open it up to any questions that you guys have in the audience, and we will be distributing this PowerPoint slide as a PDF as well, with the link to the recording.
Yeah, and so I'll make an assumption you've already talked to the property owners.
That's what today's meeting is for, but we've talked to
Okay,
them
yeah.
during design.
Okay, yeah, because our neighbor Justin there on the corner of 16th and Bannock there on that northwest corner. Because I know they've cut the trees down and he's putting in xeriscape. So I'm like, I sure hope you know what else is coming with these bump outs and whatnot.
I would love to pick your brain on a
Residential?
contact because I don't know.
Residential? That-
Residential, yeah, it's on the northwest corner.
Yeah,
Right there.
I've never had a response back from that individual, so if there's a
okay,
better
yeah,
contact,
okay. I
and
will get you one.
right now it just shows repairing of and matching existing, because we just are tying into that corner over there. So there's a bulb out and some sidewalk replacement, and then basically matching existing landscape.
Right. And like I said, I know the city came in and removed the trees.
Yeah, there was some diseased trees
Yes.
on that
Yes,
end, and then
he's
there
been
was
he's
one.
been working on xeriscaping it.
Mhm.
And so it's like, well, if something else is coming down the road, you need to be in the
Yeah.
loop, so yeah.
Let's connect after it.
And then basically, from what I see is, we can anticipate that the intersections, 15th and 16th is gonna be cutting that north-south connection
Yeah,
June through
one at a
August.
time.
One at a time,
Yeah.
yeah, so 13th and 17th are gonna see
Mhm.
an increase.
I am thrilled for those lights because I can't tell you how many times I'm at that intersection and it's a stop sign and I just out of point of reference, I'm waiting for the light to change. I'm like, it's not a light, it's a stop sign. And it's like, I'll wait for like
You
5
expect it,
minutes and then like, oh, I can go. Every
Yeah.
time, like I feel like it is already supposed to be a light.
That's great feedback.
caught myself,
We
yeah.
feel that way too.
It's like waiting for the light to change. It's, oh, there's not a light, it's a stop sign. So funny.
Pretty exciting for the bikers too, because that's a corridor
Mm-hmm.
and scary crossing.
Yeah,
Seems like a great time to do it.
Yep.
Great.
Awesome.
well, thank you both for taking the time out of your
Oh,
day
no worries.
and attending, and like I said, we'll send out the link to the presentation, a PDF of the slides. We'll be expecting an increase of communication as we get closer to starting construction here.
Well, it's directly outside of our district, but I think
irrigation season, one
still
up
ask.
April or thereabouts.
They like to have it done by March 15th, but really it's like April 15th when it needs to be done by. We got some VLE water main infrastructure, and now there's a sewer main, kind of a surprise that came about, so we're coordinating that. We'll need every bit of those months to get it done.
Yeah, because they did Jefferson Street, 4 or 5 years ago, before the canal, yeah.